What's going on, guys? My name is Naz and you are watching the Spooling Up channel. First of all, I'd like to say welcome to any new viewers, and I'd like to say thank you for the existing viewers that are returning to see some more of the content. Also, guys, thanks if you've recently subscribed to the channel, and thanks if you've already subscribed and you've been staying along and following what's been happening here with my cars. It all means a lot. It's nice to see things grow as well. Obviously, I'm not doing this for no reason. It's just a hobby of mine. I'm not trying to make like a massive career out of it. I've already got a job. Just doing it as a hobby, and also it's helped me over the months, or over the past year, in fact, do some of the things that I've wanted to do with my cars, and of course build the Fiesta, which we're sitting in today. So what I'm going to be doing with the Fiesta today actually is going to be changing the Cambelt and water pump. It's something that I've been meaning to do for a while, something that I was in a way a little bit scared to tackle by myself because I've never done a Cambelt before. However, it's not really going to get easier than this, so I'm going to crack on with that today. And then once I've done that and I feel like the engine's a little bit more solidified, I'm going to be looking at doing like a bit of a brake system overhaul because I've got seized calipers and stuff. So yeah, let's get into the video anyway, guys, and wish me luck. One more thing before we get started. I haven't really been, you know, like out there, you know, plugging my social media and all that kind of stuff. Partly because I'm quite busy, and literally when I make a video, I've literally squeezed it into a few hours of free time that I've got here and there. Sometimes to make even one video, it might take me like 2 or 3 weeks. So that's why there isn't a lot of content, and that's why I haven't been like, follow my Instagram. But guys, follow the Instagram, and I'll see you there as well. Okay guys, so if you're not too familiar with this setup, here we have the camshaft pulley, here we have the tensioner, and here we have the water pump coming along here and connecting to the radiator this way. And then at the bottom we've got the pulley for the alternator, which is also going to have to come off. This cover's going to have to come off, and then obviously if we take a close look at this camshaft pulley, you can see the timing mark here and the one that's actually on the head of the engine. So yeah, I'm just going to get started, and I'm going to try and take off that pulley for the alternator and the cover, and then that should reveal the crankshaft pulley, and then I can get my timing in the right place. Then I can mark it up further with Tipex just to make it a little clearer, because some people say it's not that easy to see. Actually, I find it quite easy to see it at the minute. But yeah, so let's start. It's not going to be the most difficult thing in the world, but yeah, let's get going. First things first, I need to loosen the tension off this belt so that it's easier for me to undo the pulley at the bottom. So I'm just going to undo the tensioner down here and then slacken the belt off, and then undo my bolt on the pulley down the bottom here. I'll try and show you from the underside. So once I've undone that, should be able to slide that pulley off and crack on from there. So just gonna first of all loosen that tension off and then take the pulley off. Right, so hopefully you can see how much slack this belt has now got in it, and what I'll do is I'll undo that pulley now and then take everything off. Right, now we've got the pulley off, the belt and the bolt that holds it on. I just want to show you something. Actually, there's a mark that's been made on this pulley which almost lines up with the mark where it slides onto the crankshaft pulley, but it's not actually perfectly in line. But I think someone may have used this to avoid taking this pulley off to do the timing. If they can use that mark there, then maybe that's how they've gone about it. I'm not too sure, but either way, I'm going to try and do things properly. So now that's off, we've revealed the crankshaft pulley, but I need to take that case off around the outside of it. It's 213mm, I believe. Okay, so here is the bottom cover. I do have the top cover indoors. It was actually 210mm, and apologies for that sound in the background. Someone's fixing a fence, but it can't be helped right now. Okay guys, so I've got my marks lined up here on the camshaft side of things, and I've got my marks lined up on the crankshaft side of things. So I think the timing might be the slightest bit out, but I'm gonna make the needed adjustments. First thing I'm gonna do now though is I'm gonna slacken off the tensioner. So it's this 13mm here and this 13mm here on this side. So I'm just going to undo those, slacken off the belt, and then I'm going to be pulling the belt off. Okay, so now that the tensioner is slid fully back and the tension is off the belt, as you can see down here, what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to work the belt around and pull it off, and then I can start looking at undoing the water pump and actually taking the tensioner off fully. Right guys, so in terms of the cam belt side of things, that's everything off now. Just got the water pump left to do. But yeah, that side of things was pretty easy, you know, can't complain. There's plenty of room really to do what you need to do. So obviously down here we have the tensioner. It's not in too bad shape actually. Just place that to a side for a minute, and here's the cam belt. Wanted to show you guys if you can see like the stress marks in it from where it's obviously starting to deteriorate and become cracked all along the outside. Inside seems pretty good anyway. Just in case you've never seen an old cam belt versus a new cam belt, here's a new one. It's all looking nice and fresh at least. So yeah, this will be going on soon. Just got to strip that water pump down first of all. Okay guys, so like I was saying, was slightly worried because it did look as if the crankshaft pulley was slightly off its timing marks. So what I've done is I put the alternator pulley back on briefly, and I was able to turn it by hand with that, just so it looks like it's in the right place. Let me see if I can get a little bit closer just to show you, but everything is definitely lined up down there now. Before it was the slightest bit off, maybe by like a couple of degrees. There we go, pretty easy to see now. Everything looks good. Crack on with the rest of it. Okay, so at the minute the water's just draining out of the water pump and the radiator hose, and then hopefully in a sec I'll be able to just undo the 10 mils and separate it away from the engine block, and then go from there, cleaning up the engine block. And then once the engine block's clean, I'll be able to put the new gasket on with a new water pump and a little bit of sealant, and hopefully then that all seals nicely and we don't have any water leaks. Lovely. Yeah man, seen better days. It's definitely seen better days. Still seems pretty cool though, you know, it's probably totally functional, but be nice to get a new one on there now. Right, so I've been lucky today I think so far with the weather. Said it was going to rain around 2 o'clock, it's now about 2:30, so I've been lucky with that so far, but the clouds homing in on me. Here we go. Obviously you saw the water pump coming off, but now it's just time to clean up this area around here. So I'm just going to be doing that with some wet and dry and a bit of rag and stuff, and just making sure it's nice, clean and smooth, ready for the new gasket to go on, and then hopefully we get the effective seal we need. Right guys, so these two water pumps match up, there's no doubt about it. Not going to bother doing a comparison on them because one's new and one's old, that's about it. Obviously going to sort this up with a new gasket and a bit of sealant. The engine block is nice and clean at the minute. May not look clean, but it's actually completely smooth, so that's ready to accommodate the new water pump. I'm just going to make sure that everything in the engine bay actually stays dry before I put the sealant and gasket on, but yeah, it's ready to go now. Right guys, so this is the sealant I'm going to be using. A little bit on the water pump, a little bit on the block of the car, just in case. Obviously the gaskets are good, but sometimes it's just not good enough, so sealant there is going to just secure my faith in hoping that obviously I'm not going to have any water leaks after. So I'm going to go ahead and apply this to both sides and then place the water pump on. State of that weather. Literally started hammering down as I was doing up the 4 bolts for the water pump. I had to stay out there so that I could finish doing them up, because I had the sealant on and I had everything in place and I didn't want to leave that all dry and loose. So that's why I'm drenched. But I'll come back to it tomorrow, man. It's not the end of the world. What's going on, guys? It's the next day now. Unfortunately, it's been raining all day and I think I've probably got about an hour and a half of daylight to go, and just so I can box up the rest of this job on the Fiesta. Don't know how likely it's going to be. I've literally come out about half an hour ago and it started raining, so I'm going to try and crack on with it now. But I'll show you where I left things off yesterday. So here's the new water pump on. It's all torqued up and it's all sealed. I literally rushed to do this last minute because it was chucking down with rain and I'd butted the water pump up against the block, so I had to quickly tighten things up before well, I got soaked because I wanted to get everything done before the sealant set. So I'm going to go ahead now and try and get this tensioner on just up here, and then see if I can get the Cambelt on. Here we have the tensioner in place now as well, ready to slide across and give the belt some tension. Just want it in place and I want it in the loosest position now, so I can slide the belt on and get it roughly in place and then start getting some tension on it. Okay guys, apologies, it's getting a little bit dark at the minute, but I'm not giving up. As you can see, that timing mark is still there, and also so is the timing mark down the bottom. Just gonna slide the belt on, make sure my timing marks stay there, and then I'll start putting some tension on it and seeing how that goes. Right guys, so yesterday I had to stop because it got really dark, but let's show you now exactly where I got to last night. I've got the belt on all the way, as you can see, all the way down to the crankshaft pulley. Timing marks in the right place, of course. What I had to do in the end actually was take the tensioner off, put the belt around the camshaft pulley, put the belt around the water pump pulley, and put the belt around the crankshaft pulley, and then once the belt was going all the way around, I had to put the tensioner on last, so I just tucked it in behind the belt because it was too hard to squeeze the belt over all the pulleys while the tensioner was in place, so I put that in last. Now it's time to adjust the tension and then hopefully box everything back together and then we'll be done. Okay guys, so everything is done now. Belt's got tension to it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the engine over a few times, and after a few rotations check the tension of the belt. They say you should be able to turn it 90 degrees through the longest route of the belt, the longest length of it, or if you like, a quarter of a turn, and that's exactly what I'm able to do here. So I think the tension's good, but just got to see what it's like after a few rotations. So I'm going to turn it over by hand also to make sure that I don't get any interference on the engine. I shouldn't do, but it's just a precaution. I've gone 1 whole turn on the bottom and I've got half a turn on the top. So basically every 1 rotation of the crankshaft, you should get half a rotation of the camshaft, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to keep going. It's taken a little while, but just turning it over and it feels pretty good so far. Just give it a couple more turns and then hopefully I'll be happy enough to start it. Right, so before I go any further starting the car, I've got to throw on this Cambelt cover down the bottom, and obviously the pulley for the alternator. So I'm just going to quickly do that, and then next thing after that we'll be firing it up. Right guys, so I literally ran the car, ran it for about 30 seconds off camera, just to make sure that it would start up before I started filming, and I think I've run out of fuel. So what I've quickly done in the time being before I can get to the petrol station is I've taken off the coolant reservoir, and I've been told to put little stones and a cocktail of cleaning products in here and give it a good shake to get rid of all these dirty, nasty marks. So I've got my stones here, just going to get some warm water and some cleaning products and hopefully clean this up. This is what we are now left with. As you can see, all of those disgusting dark marks have gone off the side. There were some bits that were obviously going to be hard to clean in the nooks and crannies. Maybe it needs a longer soak. Maybe once it's been on the car for a little while, I'll flush the coolant system and try and clean it a little bit more. But yeah, there's just a few bits that have stayed, but what a massive difference it's made. So a shout out to you, thank you very much for that advice. I'll be putting it on the car, filling it up with coolant, starting it, giving it a run, making sure I don't have any leaks on the water pump, and then yeah, that'll be the end of things. Okay guys, so Cambelt and water pump are now complete, so very happy with that. That's another thing ticked off the list that needed to be done. I'll now have to turn my attention to the reason why the car will not continue idling and it cuts out. I think it's something to do with the carburetor, or maybe some of the vacuums or something. Maybe the idle speed needs to be adjusted. I'm not too sure at the minute. Obviously that's only going to become a problem once the car's on the road. Mostly when it's here on my driveway it doesn't matter too much, but in a bit of a predicament about what to do next, because I really want to do the brakes so I can, you know, try and take the car for a little drive, try and move it a little bit. But the only problem is that if I do the brakes, the car's just going to remain sat here anyway, so I don't really see too much of a point of that. But I might just start having a look at the interior bits and bobs, seeing if I can get the clocks working. There's still some loom things that need to be sorted out as well, so I'll make my mind up over the next week or so, and then I'll continue with the filming on this car. But guys, again, thanks for coming to watch on the channel. It's really good to see you guys here, and I hope you come and return again. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and come and see what I'm doing on Instagram too.